Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Wholesale Hotline. We are on episode 75. As you can see, I'm all by myself. Brent Daniels is having a few audio issues that he's working through right now. And Jamil Damji and myself just left our projects out in the middle of Phoenix. And I know Jamil will be here any second if he's not already coming in. So welcome to Wholesale Hotline. Today, we don't have, there he is. Today, we don't have any other guest other than myself, Pace Morby, Brent Daniels, and Jamil Damji. Today, we're going to be focusing on getting your questions answered. We go through and deep dive on so many topics week in and week out that sometimes we just want to put a pause on the topic and just go through and do general Q&A, rapid fire, question after question after question after question. So, guys, I love watching the comments right now. Liana, you are setting the pace right now. Asking people where they're from is a super important part of this show. When you're on the live broadcast, whether it's on my YouTube channel, Jamil Damji, or Brent Daniels' YouTube channel, please, guys, make sure that you guys are squatting up, getting to know each other. I would say that every single week, without fail, for the last 75 weeks, somebody has DM'd me more than once, sometimes. Most of the time, it's 1 to 2 times a week. And they say, because of the comment section on Wholesale Hotline alone, I was able to get a deal, my first deal, my second deal, my 10th deal, whatever it is. So make sure you are squatting up. Make sure you guys are driving for dollars together, going on appointments together, encouraging each other, becoming accountability partners and leaders with each other. Don't just consume the content. Go out and take action. Jamil Damji, how you doing, my brother?
I'm great, dog. How are you? Can you hear me? No? Can you hear me?
Well, it might be that I'm the only one that has volume today. I don't know what the deal is, but for some reason, I can't hear you. You're pausing pretty significantly.
Weird.
Yep, I can't hear you. I'm so sorry. I've turned my volume up. I've tested all that. So everybody, Andres Bastardo says, can you guys hear Jamil Damji? Give me a feedback if you guys can hear Jamil. If you can, amazing. If you can't, let me know. Let's see here. Audio, today, speaker. All right, Jamil, you there?
Yeah, they can hear me.
There we are. I can hear you.
Okay, wonderful. Was Brent here? Couldn't hear him either?
We couldn't hear him either.
Weird. Okay.
Weird. You are freezing consistently, but right now it looks like you're pretty solid. So how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I'm wondering what's going on with my internet, though. This is weird.
You're right.
Different Wi-Fi.
I think you're okay right now. Let's keep it cranking. So, guys, in the comments today, we usually get anywhere between 300 to 500 live viewers on the show, and we really want to hear from you. What questions do you have? What are we looking at in terms of what questions you have? Again, this is the 75th episode of Wholesale Hotline. We've covered just about every topic you can imagine, but obviously not everybody's watched those. And so we are here to rapid fire any questions that you guys might have. Jamil, do you ever have people, check this out. Drillano says, y'all reading the comments? Yes, we are. Hold on. Brent Daniels is calling me. Jamil, I'm going to give you the show for just a second.
Brent's calling you. Tell us what's up. Awesome. My net is slow. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on here. We shouldn't have slow internet. I'm actually hardwired in, so I really don't understand why I have slow internet. It's super weird. But I hope you guys can hear me okay. Let's get some questions going on, guys. If you have any questions in regards to real estate investing, wholesaling, buyers, sellers, lead gen, comping, whatever it is, ask away.
So, Jamil, I've got a couple of deals I'm closing on this week that I'm excited about. And one of them came from a TTP student down in Yuma, Arizona. There he is, Mr. Brent Daniels.
Hey,
there he is. We can hear you just fine. How you doing, brother?
Fantastic. Aloha.
Is my internet any better now?
Your face is frozen.
My face is frozen. Okay.
But we can hear you just fine, so let's keep it cranking. Brent Daniels.
Yes.
I think you usually start this show with a nice quote. What do you got for us
Yeah,
today?
I've got it here. This is, you know, so if you run the tape back a few weeks, Jamil talked about this mastery book. And if any of you, you know, if you or Jamil suggests something, I'm going to jump right over it, right on it. And this is a small little book, but it is absolutely impactful. And I love this because you talked about this last week. It says, before enlightenment, chop wood and carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood and carry water. And I always thought that was an interesting quote, right? It's an interesting thing to say. It's like, what does that mean? It means like always be a learner, always be an apprentice, always be, you know, I think about this in the terms of a real estate entrepreneur, and it's really about, you know, constantly listening to things, constantly be surrounded by people doing more than you, constantly be reading and interested and having that curiosity on how to just get better a little bit more, or a little bit happier, or a little bit more fulfilled, or as this says, a little bit more enlightened. Jamil, I'm talking about the book that you suggested here. You know, before enlightenment, carry water, chop wood and carry water. After enlightenment, same thing. You know, chop wood and carry water. And I thought that was really good. And I think that this is, he talks about in this book, it's a really good section where he talks about how, you know, we kind of slip out of resolutions, or we slip back into what he calls homeostasis. Right. And this is what you were talking about, Jamil. And I think it's so powerful. And this book really kind of opened me up to the fact that, you know, we naturally, just wherever we're at in life, we've been this way for a while, right? We're in situations, we've been in family, we've been around friends, we've been in certain cities or towns, we've done certain things that keep us in homeostasis. And when we want to go out, especially people that are coming from a different industry or a different job, or maybe they're young and they're just getting out of school, or they're still in school, and you're trying to become a successful business person and a successful real estate investor, well, the thing that pulls you back is this homeostasis, because you start getting uncomfortable. You start feeling things psychologically, even physically, that are pulling you back into that comfort zone that you're kind of at, right? Even though you might be uncomfortable where you're at financially, or you feel like you need more resources and you need more, financial means, and you want to push for that, there's things pulling you back to homeostasis. So you really have to fight that. And he says here that say that after years of hacking around in your career, you decide to approach it in terms of the principles of mastery. Your whole life obviously will change, and thus you will have to deal with homeostasis. So I think that that's really, really, really important, that any of those major changes that we want comes with a lot of uncomfortable situations. And it's being comfortable in those uncomfortable situations and making something new for yourself. And that takes time, and that takes consistency. And that's why he says it's not the goal. It's all, you know, and everybody says it, but it's the journey. It truly is a journey. And to be a master, you're always a student. And I loved it. So thank you, Jamil, for that suggestion. It's phenomenal.
Awesome. I took a lot from that book too, Brent. And I think what you really honed in on was that constant concept that we will always try to go back to what was comfortable, even if it was uncomfortable. Even if what we go back to was, and that happens in abusive relationships.
Yep.
You know, again, not to throw any shade for people that don't leave abusive relationships, because they're very difficult. But what makes them difficult is that you're so scared to leave the abuse because you don't know what you're going to go into.
Yep.
So you stay in that terrible spot. And that happens. That happens to a lot of people.
It's known, right? The unknown is very scary. The stepping out there and failing and being around people that don't necessarily see the same vision that you have, it makes it difficult. But I think, you know, and Jamil, you know as well as I do, I mean, we have different students around the country that are in incredibly difficult situations, and they still are making it happen. They're still pushing through that homeostasis so that they can get into a place where, they're building wealth. And then that's the new homeostasis, which is crazy. It's wonderful. It's wonderful.
What was that book again, so that everybody who didn't get it can get it?
Mastery by George Leonard. I think it was like, I don't know, 12 or 14 bucks on Amazon.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I've got a question for both of you guys.
Yeah.
Is there such thing as truly retiring in your mind? Like you stop working, you're done. You are no longer need a cell phone. You no longer check your email. Is there ever such thing? And I'm asking as pace to my two best friends.
Yep.
Not even for the audience. I really am truly curious. Is there such a thing in your life where you go, I'm done?
Me? Boy, let me be honest and totally transparent about my journey in that whole process, right? So 10 years ago, I would have said the number I'm at right now I was done.
Mm-hmm.
10 years ago, if I had as much money as I have liquid in the bank, if I had all the assets that I own free and clear, and if I had a business cranking away that it is right now, I would have told myself, what the heck are you waking up in the morning and working 16-hour days for? Retire. But I'm in this season. I'm in this part of my life right now, and that goalpost moved. It changed. And so, yeah, man, retirement, truly, retirement is an idea for now. You never get there. When you do get the people that retire, look, I'll talk about my father, for instance. My dad retired, and he never was more miserable than the day he stopped going to work. He stopped getting up. He stopped moving around. He stopped being interested in life. And it's kind of sad to see that he just wants to sit on the couch all day now and watch Tiger Woods. Like, that's all he's got, But when he was out working and he was doing things, my dad was super energized. He was fit. He looked good. He felt good. He was happy. I don't know, man. I think retirement's kind of a scam. I think it's a scam that we've told ourselves is the goal, because the other scam that they've been selling us is that we got to go to college and that we got to go work all these hours, 8-10 hours a day for people at very poor wages. And the only thing that we have to look forward to is this retirement. It's a scam.
Yeah.
What about you, Brent?
As much of a scam as college.
Yeah, I truly, the more that I read, the more that, I don't know, just the older that I get, the more I realize that people are most happy when they are in service to other people. I truly believe that. And I don't care if that's, somebody cleaning up, cleaning houses, or if somebody's, being a coach or providing housing or doing something, just provide, or being a pastor or being a preacher or something like that, being in service to others. I think that's the goal. I mean, that's what truly makes us live. That's what gives us value. And I think when you get value and you get recognition, you're a happy person. And I think that's the big important thing, is understanding what makes you happy and what do you want to be recognized for. Do you want to be recognized for being an unbelievable parent? Amazing. Then don't be forced to feel that you have to do something else right now in this season of your life. If you want to be recognized as, a great real estate entrepreneur, then, push for that and provide value and try as much as you can to be of service to others. I think that the people that are, I think people that just maybe they're just a little bit more selfish than others are the people that you find are the most oppressed, are the most, kind of pessimistic about what's going on, because they're always thinking about themselves. You see it. I see it all the time. And I bring this up to my wife, Erin. You see posts, and there's a lot of selfishness on posts on social media. It's all look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. And I think that that's okay, but it's an interesting recognition thing, and that can sway both ways. It could be very negative, it could be very positive. But I think that if you're out there really providing a ton of value, you never retire from that. You never want to retire from that. It's exciting. I just went to Hawaii for the last week, and I totally left the phone in my, I get 100, 150, you guys know, 150 texts a day from students, and, 5 to 10 calls a day. And I love the action. But I can turn it off, baby. I can turn it off, especially when it's just Aaron and I turn it off, left it, went to the beach, snorkeling, sea turtles, the whole thing. Right. But the day that we were coming back yesterday, when we were about to leave to come back, man, I was pumped. I was pumped about this show. I was pumped to get back in action. I was pumped to just be back in the flow of things. So, the whole 4-hour work week, I think, is a scam. I think the whole live on the beach and do whatever you want is selfish, and it doesn't last very long. But that's just me. Everybody's different. So it just depends on what people want to do. And some people want to retire so that they could be a wood whittler, or they could be they could fix old cars, or they could do cool stuff like that. So, it just depends on what you want to do. But I think being in service to others is the most incredible feeling ever. And being in real estate wholesaling, we get to work with the people that are in the toughest situations, and we get to solve the biggest problems. That's why we get paid 10, 20, 30, 50,000, $100,000 a deal, because that's the amount of value we're providing in that situation. So, I think that it's just a wonderful life. I think real estate gives us the opportunity to really help people that aren't getting served, especially with what we do in wholesaling. And I think being a coach is the most fulfilling thing that I could be. I wanted to be an elementary school teacher. I wanted to be, a teacher going to NAU. They had a great education program. I started out in that, and I was like, I don't know. I got to go into business, and I was able to blend both, which is really exciting. So be in service and doing the things that long-term are going to make you happy, and be in relationships that support you and love you and want you to do those things. I think that's the key.
With Jamil, interesting thing for Jamil is, like, I spent a lot of time with him, and he's got a dream. I don't know that he's ever articulated this dream out loud, but he's got a dream for ultimately becoming like an angel investor in bigger companies. Because you go through a phase of your life where the only way to build a successful business is by providing value.
Yep.
And you have to go through the ups and the downs and the hiring and losing friends. Like, I know Jamil lost a good friend of his recently in this last year from a work-related situation. And that's part of being, growing a big business, right? And things change, you adapt, you deal with things and all that kind of stuff. And ultimately, just to retire, just to be done working after you've like gone through all those trials and all those tribulations, you just quit. And so I really like Jamil's dream, and his ultimate path of where he's going is like, even if I hung it all up one day, I wouldn't hang it up, because I have all these years of experience. I would just go into businesses, be an angel investor, and be like the godfather, where they could come to and say, all right, we're at this phase of our business. What did you do when you were at this phase of your business? So you don't go through all these years of experience and turmoil of figuring out how to provide value to the marketplace just to hang it all up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just hang it all up. And last night on Sunday Service, my creative finance podcast, I had somebody ask, Pace, are you living your ideal life right now? And somebody asked me 2 weeks ago, they said, what do you do for a living? And it was really weird. I tried a new thing. I didn't say, I do creative finance. I do this. I'm a real estate investor. My answer was, I'm retired. Because I truly am. I do feel like I'm retired. I am doing I'm excited. Just like Brent, you went to Hawaii. Isn't that so ironic that you go to Hawaii and on your way home, you can't wait to get back to work?
Oh yeah. I did. I brought books and I read all of them on the way home and didn't touch them when I was there. You know what I mean? You just get into the flow. I'm just there with my wife. Kids aren't around. It's like our first time to bond like that in a while. I mean, it was absolutely wonderful.
So my point is that I do feel like all three of us are currently living the life of our dreams, and we are serving a very high purpose. And I think if you could rewind 10 years, 15 years back, you would, ask yourself, you be in a time machine, go bump into the Jamil that was walking his dog for dollars, finding, 4 rent by owner deals, and say, hey, at some point you're going to be doing you're going to be doing triple figures every month in terms of deals, 100+ deals a month. You've got a nationwide franchise. You're doing fix and flips like crazy. You're buying real estate. Life is great. Same thing with you, Brent. Same thing with me. You almost would like talk to that guy 15 years ago, 20 years ago, would be like, are you kidding me? Like, that is a dream that I just could hardly even imagine happening.
Yep.
And I just love watching you guys. Every single day I get to hang out with you guys and talk to you guys. And I love watching you guys continue to push the needle, because that Jamil version of you 20 years ago would be so proud to see that you didn't just stop and that you didn't just hang up the hat. You got, man alive. It is so fun to watch you guys. So glad to be on Wholesale Hotline with you. And hopefully we can give some people some value today and help them live their highest purpose. But one thing I can say, Brent has taught this a million times, there's no faster way to wealth than through wholesale real estate.
Through finding discounted properties. It truly is. I mean, we're talking about this all we're at now. It all started with the seed. The seed was planted, and that was this business, this incredible business. But I think even before that, it started with, you know what, we're going to be uncomfortable. We're going to be uncomfortable doing these things. It's going to be uncomfortable going through. It's going to be uncomfortable learning these things, but just power through and get it going and build it and build it and build it and build it and check that homeostasis. I could have stayed just chilling. It wouldn't have been a satisfying life, but it would have been a life. I have great family. I've got kids. I've got, I could have been a real estate agent forever, right? I could have just been doing that or whatever else. And that was good. But, man, you got a fire in your belly. You've got, that the older you get and the more experience you get, the more versatile you get. Woo, man. I'm excited to see what the next 20 looks like. It's going to be bananas. I am telling you, look at that. I'm going to ring right now. That's for everybody watching, everybody that's watching the replay. I am telling you, if you really implement, if you start being serious about having quality conversations with distressed property owners, finding discounted properties, you really get uncomfortable. A year from now, your whole life will be different.
Just so you guys know, statistically, people who retire at 55 as opposed to 65 have a 20% higher likelihood of dying early.
Yep.
So Freedom 55 takes you right to the ground. We got a ton of questions in there. Woo! Let's get at it.
Let's do a hot round. Let's go through them. Let's fire through these questions.
Start with a quick one. Can I wholesale a fix and flip deal? Yes, that's what we do.
What do you think? Hold on. What do you think they mean by that? Because I feel like a lot of times the questions people are asking, they don't quite understand how to type out their question. Do they truly mean, can I wholesale a deal that I have under contract to a fix and flipper? Is that what they're asking?
I think so. Or like maybe Randy was wondering, can I wholesale a house that is in such bad condition it needs to be fix and flipped?
Or is it in the middle of a fix and flip and the guy ran out of money and you can, The answer, Randy,
all those is yes. Yes.
This might be a Brent question here.
Driving for dollars, batch driven. Driving for dollars, batch driven. I mean, Nemo, here's the thing. Don't overthink it. If you're just getting started, if you're just going, and I don't know if you are, so maybe you've already gone through that. Maybe you've already set that up, but ugly houses. That's step one. Step two is tired landlords that have equity, right? So they've owned properties for at least 7 years. They're in good areas that people are wanting to buy. And I always suggest you go for a price point of above 150,000. just to start getting some good checks coming through. Not to say that there's not phenomenal deals lower than 150,000, but typically under 150,000, it's about a $5,000 to $8,000 deal. Above that, it gets into that 10, 15. And I'd love for you to pad and get a nice, happy, healthy, and
horny
and heavy bank account.
Oh,
The
I thought you were going to say horny, but all right.
Yeah. Well, maybe it is. Yeah. The 4 H's.
Leroy says, can you sub to a sub 2? So this is another vernacular deal, right? So can I purchase a sub 2? Yes. Can I then sell that again? That, I guess you could ask this question multiple different ways. So let me unpack this real quick. Give me 2 minutes. Can I assign a sub 2? Absolutely. I just bought a mobile home park from a TTP student in Yuma, Arizona, 35 unit mobile home park. Seller was asking full retail. I paid full retail. I'm paying a $30,000 assignment fee on a full retail deal to a TTP student. So,
Who's the student?
I don't actually know the student. The TTP student worked with my student, Stephen Crawford.
Okay.
So one of my students reached out to a TTP student and said, hey, any dead leads you have, any trash leads you have that you don't know how to, negotiate on the seller finance or sub 2 side, let me help you. And they squatted up together, right? They followed our teachings and they squatted up together. So we're acquiring the deal at full retail. It's a deal that I'll cash flow probably about $7,500 a month on that one deal. $7,500 a month on one deal. That's pretty dope. Could I then assign that deal so I could assign and assign and assign? Yes, you can do the same thing. Now, I think the question he's really asking is, could I then sell or finance that? You don't sell it on a sub 2 again. Sub 2 means taking over the debt at the par value. So if the seller owes 200 grand, that means I'm buying it for $200,000 and I'm giving the seller maybe $3,000 or $4,000 in cash. That's a sub 2. Okay. If I buy that on a sub 2, I want to make a profit. So what I do is I then sell it on seller finance at 250 or 300 or whatever. And now I have $100,000 in equity that I collect payments on every single month. So yes, absolutely. So a deeper dive on that. Where would you guys go to find that deeper dive? I would go to either my YouTube channel, youtube.com/PaceMorby, or go to Sunday Service, which is also on youtube.com/PaceMorby. Every Sunday, 7 p.m., we break down creative finance for the last 21 months straight.
Woo.
Every single week for an hour and a half to 3 hours every Sunday, all about creative finance.
Did you see they called it Subception instead of Inception when you sub to a sub 2?
Subception, yeah. Steve H says, any sub 2 in Massachusetts? Yes, we have multiple students in Massachusetts. You'll see like Sergio, and you'll see Claudio, and you'll see so many students in that area. So Boston, Mass, I have a lot of students there. So squat up with them. You'll actually see Claudio in here quite a bit. This is probably a Jamil question.
What is the best way to get started in wholesaling, but on the disposition side? So King Edward, the key here would be to bring a buyer to the table, right? It is an absolute bold-faced lie that many educators basically sold for years and years and years, that if you get a deal, the buyers will come. And if the deal is good enough, they will knock down your door. It's not true. They won't know who the hell you are. You can have the best deal ever, and if you aren't doing active lead gen for buyers, if you're not actually doing the disposition side and have a good understanding of that, your deal won't sell. Not only will it not sell, you won't have the skills to get the deal across the finish line. A true person who is skilled in dispositions not only understands how to bring a buyer to the table, but how to get a deal closed. Just because you've got an assignment and earnest money in the title company doesn't mean the deal is closed. You still got to get that deal across the finish line.
What would happen if every contract that was ever contracted actually turned into real money? Would every wholesaler have been a billionaire by now?
Possibly. But King Edward, what you want to do is create relationships with buyers.
Yeah.
All right. You have to focus on going out, finding cash buyers. So what are some ways that you can find cash buyers? Well, first and foremost, I would be mining the MLS every single day for new listings, properties that appear to be flip properties, right? Properties that are, you can tell just by the listing that they have been fully renovated, they're staged, they're vacant, there's no clothes in the closet. This is it's owned by an LLC. This is a flip property. Skip trace the owner of that LLC, reach out to them and make them your next client, right? And do that every single day. Do that for all of those listings. The next thing I would do is go find buy and hold buyers. Where do you find them? Go to Zillow.com and go check out all of the for rents on Zillow.com in your area right now. Look at which of those properties are owned by LLCs. Skip trace those LLCs at batch skip tracing. Use the code SQUADUP. Skip trace those LLCs. Reach out to those buy and hold buyers and add them to your list. If you can create a buyers list with buyers that are ready to hear from you, that know you're going to be sending them opportunities, that have connected with you, that know your name, that will respond to your email, you will have 100% better chance of selling a deal than an acquisition wholesaler that went and contracted a deal and hasn't done any work on the backside to sell their deals. And I'll tell you, 90% of wholesalers that are out there doing lead gen are doing just that. They're spending all their time and energy and effort on reaching out to sellers and nothing on the buyers. On we go.
Love it.
Let's see here. Here we go. So many good questions in here. Ooh, okay. So Brent, I'm curious. Do you have a favorite CRM right now?
Yeah. Well, listen, I mean, it's not like out there because Rafael Cortez built it, right? And Rafael Cortez built the sickest CRM ever. Now it costs $6,000 for him to build it. So it's not for, just starting out, but I used, when I started out, my CRM was, can you get those accordion binders? It was just an accordion binder. I would print out the lead, put it in, it's right there. Put it in these binders from Staples right behind you over there on the ground. Oh. And keep it simple. I would just, I didn't fiddle around with the CRM until I hired people. And I think that kept me really organized and it kept me from getting creative avoidance, right? We talk about that. So I had this for the first $1.5 million worth of deals. Hold on, here we go. That's 1 through 31. I would put the leads in there. If it was
I'm going to call you Steve Urkel because that looks like an accordion, dog.
Yeah, that's it. It's an accordion binder. If it was the 26th, I'd pull out my leads, and that's my lead follow-up. And that was as simple as that. Now, when I started hiring and bringing on more people, I got a Podio system and did a great job. There's a ton of them, guys. Don't overthink it. I mean, you can do a lot of damage just writing out, printing out your leads and keeping them organized. But until you start hiring people, then you're going to have to get way more organized because then accountability comes into play, right? If it's just you can keep yourself accountable knowing that if you didn't call the 15 people that are in on the 26th, that, you need to do that. Right. But if you have somebody else that's doing your lead follow-up and your sales, you need to keep those guys accountable because what will happen is they'll smash a really big deal and then they'll kick it if you're not keeping them accountable. So make sure that once you start hiring people, get a good, clean CRM. There's a ton of them. Just go any of them will work. And if you want something really sick, DM me. I'll give you Rafael Cortez's or just DM Rafael Cortez. And he'll let you know.
Steve Crawford says, I've never done acquisition on wholesale deals, only found buyers. So Steve Crawford is a sub-2 student. I don't know that. I know Jamil knows the story, but Brent, do you know the story about Steve Crawford Googling how to get rich?
Well, I just saw that Laura loves me or loves you, or I love her, your wife. I guess I don't know if you're Urkel because you love her or because I love her. So I guess we could both be Urkel Pace.
Oh. Love it. So
no, but go ahead. Sorry.
Steve Crawford is a student of mine. Last year, he basically got overlooked for a job promotion and he got so fed up with it that he went to Google and he Googled how to get rich.
Nice.
And Google says, get into real estate, dude, you idiot.
Yeah.
So he goes to YouTube, and YouTube says he says how to get started in real estate, pulls up Steve Trang's podcast. He watches a handful of us, and then he gets set on me. He joins my mentorship. And a week later, he learns just go to wholesalers and say, give me access to your dead leads. And so he goes and finds somebody that has a manufactured home under contract in Yuma, Arizona. And he structures a deal with a seller at 0% interest and I think 0 down. I can't remember exactly. And that was a year ago. He's been making $1,100 a month net income on a deal he got within 2 weeks of starting real estate.
Awesome.
Fast forward, he's going to be my partner on this mobile home park that we're closing this week. And he doesn't go to sell it directly to sellers. He goes to wholesalers and says, let me help you revive your dead leads. I'm paying him and a TTP student. I think they're splitting the assignment fee somehow, but he brought the deal to me. I go, I want that. I'll buy that deal. So I pay them a $30,000 assignment fee for the deal at full retail. And I go, Steve, I really, enjoy working with you. We've done multiple deals together. I want to bring you on as a partner on my mobile home park. And so now Steve stays on as a partner in the mobile home park. He'll get a monthly check every single month from that deal. This is all never having to directly communicate to a seller. And now Jamil is better at teaching this method of, never having to really talk directly to the seller. My team and my company talks about how to revive dead leads, right?
Yeah.
No equity, or maybe the seller wants too much money. So guys, I would say the number one problem with real estate is that there are too many ways to succeed.
Yep.
There are truly too many ways to succeed, and that somebody will start down a path for a week, and then after a week they hear somebody else's podcast and they deviate from what they were starting on. And then 3 months later, they find out they've tried 9 different strategies and they go, real estate's too hard. Right?
I want to just show something real quick here. So I don't know if you can see this or not. Can you see this? Is it too bright?
It's just, there it is. There it is. There it is.
Yeah.
All right. So guys, just like Stephen Crawford, sorry, this is so janky. I apologize. But just like Stephen Crawford, we don't do any seller direct deal. Brent, what's the deal count at the top there?
38.
Yeah. And what's that average gross profit per deal?
33,463.
Do that math.
Yep.
That's $1.2 million.
Yep.
And it's the 26th. We have 4 more days to grow, to get to about $1.3 million in assignment fees, guys, without talking to a single seller.
Is this Phoenix?
These are the only markets that is Arizona, Florida, and Texas are corporate stores.
Your corporate stores. Love it.
Not franchises.
How are you getting such big deals right now, Jamil?
We are just negotiating. We're selling for more. We're negotiating with buyers. We are knocking them out of the park each and every single time.
Yep.
And we have 0 ad spend. We have 0 marketing dollars. So just like Stephen Crawford just said, you can do this business without ever having to talk to a seller, and you can make over $1 million a month doing it.
Well, that's the evolution. I mean, it really is. And you take people right to it, and I get it. And that's fantastic. But everybody that has a wholesaling business, you have to become the guy or gal in your market. You have to become the magnet, the magneto in your market where people trust you to sell their deals, because that's how you build really that 40-50% net to the owner of the company business, right? It truly is. And Jamil's just taking people right to it right away. So it's absolutely fantastic.
Brent, here's a good question for you.
Yeah, I like that, Jeremy. And there's a couple. I just want to address one thing, because it's really important to listen to me. If you call for 20 hours, you will get a deal consistently. Okay. Now, if you have a VA, I don't care if they're American or they live in a different country, it's going to be about 3 to 4 times that amount. Okay. It's going to be 60 to 80 hours. For you, it's going to be 20. Okay. You're going to dig in deeper. You're going to understand which lists are better. You're going to get in there. It takes 20 hours, but listen to me. So it's not the amount of calls, it's the amount of hours. That's if you're using a dialer, a triple line dialer. Now, with that, you have to have the patience to last the 90 days it takes to get that check. Okay. Because when you talk to somebody today from a cold lead, they're not reaching out to you through marketing. You're reaching out to them through prospecting, through lead generation. It takes about 90 days to get paid. So the efforts that you take today is going to get you paid in 90 days. So that is the issue. That's what keeps people go through that dip, because they have a lot of enthusiasm and they're calling and they've got leads and they're like, and then all of a sudden it takes 45 to 60 days for that seller to be ready to sign the paperwork, the agreement. And that's when people, that first 90 days, I'm telling you, if you could stay consistent for that runway, that 90-day runway, if you just keep that positivity and just surround yourself like a crazy person. I don't care if you're like doing affirmations in the mirror and you're getting all hyped up and you're getting all pumped, or if you're calling with your buddy and your best friend or whatever, you're virtually calling in some sort of Google Hangout or whatever else. Do what you need to do for that 90 days and you're going to be successful. And then you build that pipeline of leads and then it starts building and building. Another thing real quick is you were talking about a pace, and I think this is important. On page 129 on this, I literally folded this one over. Clarity creates energy. Right? You were talking about there's so many different ways to make money in real estate. Clarity creates energy. If you're all over the place, if you're trying to do everything right off the bat, it's going to attack your energy, which is going to attack your schedule, which is going to attack your priorities, which is going to end up being very difficult. It'll be an uphill battle. Clarity creates energy. What was the question? The question was,
how important is it to have your real estate license to wholesale?
It's going to be more and more. If your state requires it, get it. Get it
anyway. I mean, it takes 2.5 weeks.
Yeah. So I think there's a lot of misconceptions on it. Like in Arizona, you can get your license in 12 days. And you could do the boot camp. You can go through you literally just have to go through the 90 hours and pass the tests. And then, but it costs about what, Jamil? 1,500?
Yeah, under 1,000.
Now you don't really know if just the owner of the business has to have a license. I would just say if your state is going that way, have everybody in your company get a license.
So here's how it is in Arizona. One or more members of an LLC needs to have a real estate license if that LLC is going to be wholesaling. If you are going to have individuals communicating about price and contracts, those people need to be licensed by it right now. In Arizona, that's the law. They're not enforcing it, but that's the law. So if you've got a rep, if you've got people on the phone and they're not licensed and they're having conversations with people, you're in the gray area. So why be in the gray area? I don't think you need to be.
Hey,
and
Jamil,
I think it's a recognition. I think people are recognizing that wholesaling is like a legit, it's the real deal. It's a real thing. And they want to, it's just like, and this is a really obscure kind of reference, but I'm a really big UFC fan, and the UFC couldn't go to a lot of different states because they thought it was barbaric. So they started putting rules in place, different things that they could and couldn't do, different weight classes, different things. And now they can go anywhere, and it's grown and it's bigger and it's better and it's cleaner and it's smoother. I think the same thing is going to happen with real estate. It's kind of a weird, obscure analogy, but I think that's kind of what it's at right now. Right now we're in the no weight class. Everybody can kick each other in the nuts and poke eyes and do whatever you want. And to clean it up, you clean it up, and people make more, and it'll be really, really
right. Right now we're in the world of YouTube versus UFC.
Yeah.
Legit.
Yeah.
Hey, Jamil, I would like to request that you comp a property for me. I just got a deal in my text message. I have no idea who it came from. But I get these all the time. And in the very beginning of the show, we had multiple people say, I'm confused by comping. I need help. So Jamil is going to be doing a screen share for us, guys. and he's going to comp a deal. He's going to show you how quickly he can comp a deal. Also, Jamil does a comping show every Sunday. I actually watched it yesterday. I was putting together a desk in my office, and I said, you know what? I'm not going to sit here and listen to music. I'm going to listen to my homeboy on Straight Outta Comping, which is 5 o'clock every Sunday on Jamil Damji's YouTube channel. So I even am at a point right now where I get my students to go, Pace, will you comp this property for me? I go, yeah, I'll quickly comp it. But you guys really should be watching Jamil's show and becoming a master of comping. The guy comps more properties. I hang out with him 8 to 10 hours a day. And in between breaks and conversations, the dude's looking at his phone, not swiping through Instagram. He's literally just sitting there comping on his phone all day long. What's
the address, Pace?
The address is, Jamil, you ready for it?
I'm ready. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
We sure can. The address is 2699 East Mineral Park Road in Santan Valley. 2699 East Mineral Park Road in Santan Valley. This is interesting because last week my wife did a couple of
solar
YouTube
panels.
Videos. What's that?
There's some solar panels going on. Do we know if they're leased or owned?
I don't know. I literally just got the text message and having Jamil comp it. I don't even know who sent it to me.
Where are you seeing the panels, Brent?
I just got an aerial view on it.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah, there you go. There's the solar. Good call. So we got a 2005 built, 1276 square foot. We don't know the bed and bath, but I'm going to assume it's a 3-2 based off of the size. Batch's value estimate is $223,291. What else do we got? A attached garage, no pool, 5,200 square foot lot. Let's see what it's worth. So first and foremost, I'm just going to change some filters around here. Guys, don't pay attention to what I'm doing and changing the filters. I just want as much data as possible. So I remove as many filters as I can so I can get more data points. I just want to see more. That's the reason why I do it. There we go. Look at that. Super full. So let's zoom in.
Next door neighbor is a decent comp too.
Awesome. Our subject property is the Blue Balloon. Next door we have awesome. Sold in 2021. It just sold, and it's a 3-2, 1,430 square feet, which means that we can use it because it's within 200 square feet of our subject property. So let's just see what that dollar per square foot is. Sold at $300,000, and there's 1,430 square feet. That's $209 a square foot. If we multiply that by the 1,276 that we have, that takes us to an ARV of 267. 267.
Okay, so can I take your screen share off? Because I want to highlight something that you talked about earlier today.
Sure. Well, right before you do that, I just want to point one thing out. You guys, the reason why I'm going to say that the ARV on this is 267, because there's nothing here. Yep. There's nothing here that's higher. So that's it. That's my ARV, 267.
Are there any actives, Jamil?
Not that I can see. No, everything looks sold. So there's 0 actives there right now, which means that there's a lot of opportunity for a deal. People want to buy there. People want to buy.
Okay, so I'm gonna show you and highlight something that I think is super important. We talked about it earlier at the show, where people have a hard time selling their deals, right? So why is it? Let's have this conversation. I have no idea who sent me this deal. Hot new off-market deal. Pics are attached. 260 to the seller. Text back if you're interested. This won't last long. Yeah, because you're going to cancel on the deal. You 260 and the ARV is 267.
No, if you're buying that property, let's just round up to 270 as the ARV. You can probably go up to about 200 is the maximum purchase price on that house. 200.
Jamil, can you just touch a little bit on solar panels?
Solar panels are make the deal more difficult because often what ends up happening is the solar panel is on a lease. If the solar panel is on a lease, then the person who's buying that property has to qualify. Even your cash buyer. Your cash buyer is going to have to qualify for a solar lease, which I can promise you 90% of them aren't going to want to do it. They're not going to want to go through that brain damage of having to qualify for qualifying for a solar lease is as hard as qualifying for a mortgage. No joke.
I just bought a house in El Mirage, and they ran my credit. You know what I mean? Like,
in the butt, right?
Yeah.
So that, and also the buying pool for your fix and flip client that buys it and renovates that house, when he sells it, that property is also going to need to be sold to someone who's going to qualify for those solar panels. That lowers the amount they can qualify for on their mortgage because that's a brand new payment that they've got to add to their loan. So it reduces their debt to income ratio because it actually acts as more debt.
Jamil, when you get people sending you guys deals like this, because this is a fresh deal, just came into my cell phone, okay? Instead of being rude to these people, like I've seen so many people be like, oh, you don't have a deal or whatever else, is there a magic phrase that you use to go back to these people? I just simply said, thank you for the opportunity. I see an ARV of 267, which means I would pay 220 max. Please keep sending me opportunities and also send me your name. Is there anything else that you would send to this person?
I think what you sent to that person was absolutely perfect.
Got it.
That's how I would respond to that message.
Okay, so good question in the side comments, okay? And this is an interesting thing. I really want you guys to understand that you can go into Straight Outta Compton, which is Jamil's show on Sunday. It's one of the smartest shows ever. Nobody's doing this ever because I don't think anybody comps as well as Jamil does. So let's go into this real quick. It's about that exact comp, okay? And I really, really want Jamil to answer this. So I have to find it. Let's see.
We got over 400 people live right now, guys. This is great.
Come on.
Great. She said what it was. Oh, here it is. Cara Erickson says, curious how you come to an ARV total without seeing the interior of the comp. What if the comp is not updated?
So the reason, and that's a great observation, Cara, great observation. The reason why I'm assuming that is going to be a renovated house, it's the highest sale there. It's the highest sale there. So I'm not going to waste my time going and looking for something else because if that's the highest sale, it's the highest sale. Renovated or not, that's the highest sale that at that square footage that an appraiser is given. There's no 300s there. So I'm going to use that as my benchmark. That's going to be my anchor. Now, I bet you if you go and look at that property at a different website, maybe not Batch, but if you look at it on Redfin, it'll probably be updated. In fact, why don't we just check it out? What's the address again, Pace?
2699 East. Let me put your screen back up on there. At least your screen's not sharing anymore. You might want to share your screen.
Okay.
2699 East Mineral Park Road in Santan Valley.
Awesome.
T-Town Extreme says, Jamil never stops Straight Outta Compton. I love it. And then Benjamin Fabella says, how did Jamil get his wholesale price off or from the 267? So if you go back and press the rewind button, Jamil found the highest comp within a couple of hundred square feet of our model match. He figured out the price per square foot.
270.
And then he went back to the other our house and he multiplied it by the square footage. That's where he came up with the price.
Yep.
But there are no pictures of this house online.
I do have. You want pictures of the actual house? I'll send it to you.
Yeah, let's see. Well, let's see them. Can you just share?
It's in the Dropbox. Yeah.
No, not the actual house. I want the pictures of the comp.
I don't have pictures of the comp.
There's no pictures of the comp. But again, you can assume that it's an updated property because it's the highest sale there. It's the highest sale there.
Oh, Dario. Good to see you in here, Dario. Dario's a sub-2 student. He says, he means, how did he come up with the offer price from the 267? Jamil, do you mind sharing?
How'd you get the 200?
So what I've done is I went for my astro flipping students. I went and looked at every major market in the United States, and I went and traced back what percentage of ARV cash transactions are happening. And the ratio, the percentage of ARV that you could buy, it would be different if you were in Florida or if you were in Arizona. Now, for me, I know in Arizona, I can buy at 75% of ARV for that type of product. And that takes me to around 200 grand. That's how I figured it out. Not rocket science.
Cool.
And Kara, just to clarify a little bit, that takes into consideration some repairs there. Obviously, if you see the pictures of the property and they've ripped out all the cabinets and all the toilets are gone and the flooring's all destroyed, you're going to have to adjust that a little bit or a lot of it based on the condition.
Correct, Brent. My 75% is for a cosmetic remodel. If it's a full gut remodel, I'm going to be slightly lower than that. I'll probably be closer to about 65% of ARV for a full gut.
It does seem like a little bit of a plague in the industry, and it has been for a long time. It hasn't been like this just like the last 6 months or anything like that. But Christina makes a good point. I see this issue a lot. Wholesalers sending completely yada, yada, yada. It is exhausting. But I can tell you that just like anything else, persistence is key. So my wife actually helps us find deals for our fix and flip business. So my wife is reaching out to wholesalers all the time. She actually documented herself actually buying a deal from Keegley 10 days ago or so, something like that. So she gets the deal from Keegley. She runs the comps. She calls Keegley. She gets the deal, buys the deal. Keegley has great deals. If you guys, Jamil, if I wanted to get on Keegley's buyers list, by the way, how do I do that? Nationwide. Is there an easy way to do that?
Yes, you email Abraham@Keegley.com.
Abraham@Keegley.com. Okay, so I can tell you, because you guys teach your franchisees how to actually comp a deal, that the likelihood of a really bad deal coming across your guys' platform is very unlikely, but they get gobbled up really quickly. So my wife goes through, and I can tell you there are wholesalers that will send her deals after deal after deal, and she is polite every single time. Yep. And it's usually by like the 20th or maybe 25th time they send a deal, my wife goes, there it is. I finally got a deal from you. And all of those, good job, keep going, here's the comp, all of those attaboys finally pay off. So guys, the best thing to do when you get a wholesaler that sends you a bad deal is to give them good, solid coaching and positivity, because that's the community that we're trying to build here. It does get exhausting. It is frustrating. It is something for us to, we have fun teasing these people behind their back. But at the end of the day, let's keep coaching everybody on how to actually find good comps. And I imagine Christina does a good job of that as well. So let's keep
Can I speak to this real quick, though?
Yeah.
I think she's making an assumption that everybody is a fix and flip investor. It's not true. I'm telling you, we are selling to people that will fix that up and live in it.
Yeah, that's
and now
a good
they're
point.
Walking in with equity. We're selling it to people that are going to put that in their portfolio. They're going to fix it up and put it in their portfolio. The fact is, supply and demand matters. If there's no properties for sale in a neighborhood, you push value. You push value. That's just what it is. It's not going to make sense for us. We wouldn't buy them at those prices for what we want to do, but different buyers have different strategies. I think that, to get bigger deals, you have to put it out there and see what the market tells you. The market is right. The buyers are right. If there is somebody for it, they will get it. If not, then they won't, then it won't sell. And, sometimes people lock it up too high, and I get it. And that is a problem. And then they have to go back and talk to the seller or worse, ignore them and just do, not communicate with them effectively. That's the issue. But the issue of people pushing values, I mean, we're pushing it at like 90% of ARV on some of these areas, Jamil, because it's going to retail buyers that are getting private funds. Huh?
Yeah, like a hedge fund.
Yeah, or whatever. It could just be somebody that this is the next door neighbor to their sister, right? And they've been waiting for this house forever, and now it's popped up, and it's not on the market, and they don't have to bid against 15 other people, and they would love to go in there and take this little charming cottage house and turn it into like their dream home and put the sweat equity in there and live there forever. You just don't hallucinate and assume that that every buyer is going to be a fix and flip investor that needs to make a certain percentage of return. Test it out. If it doesn't work, put it out at a new negotiated price, but just make sure that there's room in there. Don't lock up deals hoping for that. You just want to make sure that that you're taking care of the seller first, and you can move the deal and then put it out there and get a massive deal out of it. Why not?
Jamil and Brent, Tanisha Epps, one of my she is an unbelievable student of mine. Little known fact about Tanisha, she has a Lego addiction. Her entire house is full of Legos. So but we do love her. She's unbelievable. She's one of these students that like memorizes where all of we have done 1,200 Zooms in the last 14 months in Sub 2, right? We're always hanging out. We're always whatever. And we're in these Zooms. Like I did 15 hours over the weekend of live training with the students. And when students are in the comments on Zoom asking a question, Tanisha is like sprinkling them of exactly where to find their answer inside of our vault, which is amazing. So Tanisha is amazing, amazing. And thank you so much, Tanisha. So her question is, and I want to pose this to both of you because I want to see what both your guys' answers are.
Yeah.
Would each of you please talk about your offer price rules for wholesale and how do you calculate maximum allowable offer? Mine, very quickly, is we go off of a rule of thumb, very similar to what Brent and Jamil are going to say to you. But our favorite thing, honestly, is before we even get a contract, we reach out to buyers that we really like and we verify our price because it is amazing to me how things will actually change, or maybe we miss something or whatever else. So beyond that, because that's not the answer anybody wants to hear. People want to hear a calculation. They want to hear something they can write on their wall. And when they're on the phone with the seller, they can look over at that wall and go, okay, 70% of ARV minus repairs. Is there a very quick calculation that you guys use to come up with MAO, maximum allowable offer?
Yeah, Tanisha.
Go ahead, please.
No. I'll set the stage and then you can clean it up. How about that? Tanisha, it really depends on if you're pulling a price out of that seller first. It really does, because if you're going in blind, I suggest you go 66%. If it's over 250,000, if it's under 250, you throw out 50%. And these are for properties that are in really rough shape. And those are going to be your best deals, right? So if we're doing our job right, we're going after the ugliest properties because they get the biggest spreads. Now, listen, you could do good deals with good, clean properties that just need some cosmetic, but just to get some good income coming in. I like going after ugly properties that need a lot of love, because people, they are worth what we're offering. They have potential equity, like Jamil talks about, but they don't have that equity. Somebody needs to fix that up, right? So 66% if it's over 250, 50% if it's under.
Are you minusing repairs, Brent?
No. That's it.
Okay, that's just it. Okay, good. Got it.
Fine.
So I love that. I think that's a pretty good, and is that every market, Brent? Nationwide?
Yeah.
Okay. So my answer is a little bit different because I'm dividing my markets into two types.
Yep.
First market is a high appreciation, high demand market.
Yep.
Which would be like a Phoenix, Chicago, LA, Miami, North Carolina,
Dallas.
like Charlotte, Atlanta, right?
Yes. Not so much Atlanta, because the houses are a little bit older there and they need a little bit more work. But yes, it would be Atlanta if Atlanta's houses were in better shape. But high appreciation, high demand market, essentially for cosmetic remodels, we're at 70% of ARV. If it's a full gut remodel, 50% of ARV.
Love it. And guys, ARV, are you just pulling Zillow, or are you pulling
I'm actually comping it. Just comping it.
Just comping it.
Yep.
So the question is 66% of what ARV, Tila. So ARV, whatever you come up with, ARV. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then if I'm in a low appreciation, low demand market, like Akron, Ohio, or Columbus, or Indianapolis, again, great places, but they're low appreciation markets. People, they don't appreciate at a high rate. They have great cash flow, but their investors are not banking on appreciation in those markets. In those markets, they tend to also be pretty rough with respect to how much work is necessary to be done in the homes, and their lower price points.
Yep.
So you'll buy a $50,000 house that's going to need a $50,000 remodel, right? Which is kind of crazy. So in a low appreciation, low demand market, we go at 50% of ARV for cosmetic and 30% of ARV if it's full gut. Now, if you want to find out if your market is in a high appreciation, high demand, or a low appreciation, low demand, send me a DM, send me what market you're in, and we'll respond.
Yeah, love it. And I think, I just don't, for me, Jamil, the stuff under 150, some of the repair costs just gobble it up. I see, I'm comping a lot daily looking at that from students around, and I'm like, you got to be at like 10, 12,000 on this house. You got to be at 5,000 on this house.
Like a $5,000 house could need a $60,000 remodel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I answer this question a little bit off topic from what you guys are talking about?
Of course.
Pace, what are the benefits of the Burr method? Here in Maryland, the gurus, all they talk about is the Burr method and never seller finance. Why is that?
Look at Andres. Look at Andres. He goes, oh, JC, you just lit a fire, bro.
Oh, bro, yeah. I'm actually going to give you the real legit answer to this, not my frustrated.
No, get hyped. Fire it up, bro.
Okay, so I'm not going to get hyped today. I'm going to be very a really good answer for you. This is the true answer. Okay, the gurus who talk about the Burr strategy are not directly marketing to sellers. They are only waiting on what somebody else sending them a deal. Okay, and the reality is they're trying to talk to the majority of the human beings that have 9 to 5 jobs and want to do one deal a year. And that is enticing. That's a really great way to sell a coaching program, because most everybody has a 9 to 5 job, and you can tell them, hey, you don't have to directly talk to sellers. Just buy deals at full retail and go get a conventional loan and go and do this deal. Burr strategy buyers have no direct to seller communication. They don't know how to find off-market properties. They don't know how to negotiate with sellers. You find me one. Find me somebody that's doing the Burr strategy only, and I will find somebody who has not learned how to actually negotiate with a seller. I would never be direct to seller and utilize the Burr strategy, because I know how to communicate with the seller and buy on seller finance. Why would I go get a loan to pay off your loan just so I could then go get another loan after I renovate the thing using a hard money loan? You just involved 4 stupid ass loans on the worst transaction ever. And the majority, if not almost all people doing the Burr strategy, they say, oh, I used 0 of my own money because my refinance took all my money out. No, it didn't. In order for that to happen, you have to be buying deals at 50 cents on the dollar through a wholesaler or off the MLS. It's not happening. And I would love to have somebody DM me that has proof that the Burr strategy truly works in that regard. It doesn't. But why the Burr strategy is easy for people to comprehend is because they go, just do one Burr strategy deal a year, and in 15 years, you finally gain financial freedom. Okay. Burr strategy, again, I'm going to say it one more time. People utilizing the Burr strategy have 0 understanding of how to actually find off-market deals and how to actually negotiate and communicate with the seller to obtain seller finance. Okay, so there's time. So actually, there was a deal a couple of weeks ago. Jamil, you brought a mobile home to me, right? And you go, hey, it's a 1974 mobile home. We're not going to get into why that is not a great deal. You go, hey, it's a 1974 mobile home. Do you want to buy it? And I go, does it have seller financing? He goes, no, it doesn't. It's a cash deal. I go, great. Can I talk to the wholesaler, and can I communicate with the seller, and can I rearrange the contract to ultimately get the seller financing from the seller? Because I know that the wholesaler, if you go back to him and go, that's not a deal unless you go get seller financing. The wholesaler goes, oh, okay, thank you so much for the advice. But they have no idea what that means to go back and get the seller to sell to you on seller finance. So that deal might as well be dead.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with the Burr strategy. Is if somebody sends me a deal, the only thing, because I have no direct communication with the seller, the only thing I can do is go get a hard money loan, buy the deal, go through the freaking renovation utilizing private money. So there's my second loan, just to then go and get a refinance, just so that refinance is 35% down on my refinance loan. 99% of Burr strategy people that use the Burr strategy are leaving 20 to 35% of their cash in that deal.
Okay, do you want to know why? It's in the name itself. It's in the friggin' name itself. Buy. What does Burr stand for? Buy. Renovate. Hey, guys, hold on a second. Letter number 2, renovate. Why do you think they say renovate? Because you have to spend money to add value, to create new value out of that piece of shit property. If it was a real deal, it would have had equity in it the day it was bought.
Correct.
Not the day you spent money. So BRRRR is essentially, how do you create a deal from just a normal ass house? That's it. That's not real estate.
I thought that was a great explanation, Pace. I haven't heard you put it that way. It's true. Yeah. I mean, I think that, you know, I'm sure that there's some people there. You go. Jody's got
Jody says, I have 1,000+ women in my other network buy BRRRR's direct to seller. They spend all their time and money on marketing. So Jody, we need to have a conversation, because we need to educate these women that if you're going to go directly to the seller to then purchase their home with hard money, to then go and get a private money lender to pay for your renovation, just to go 6 months later. Here's the thing. On the mobile home park, for example, that I'm currently buying right now, I truly am using none of my own money. I didn't have to qualify for not only 2 loans, but not even 1 loan. I didn't have to qualify for any loan. Nobody asked for my credit. Nobody checked my bank history. Nobody even checked my anything. Nothing. I don't even think the seller even knows my name. There's no bank involved other than the seller. So, and I paid an amount that there's really no equity in the deal. However, guess what I don't have to do? I don't have to renovate.
Yep.
And I don't have to refinance. Day one, I'm cash flowing $7,500. I don't have to hopefully wait for a lender to give me a refinance 6 months later. Jamil, you're currently going through a loan right now. How's that going?
Come on. You're with me every single day.
You're right. Could you imagine being a BRRRR strategy utilizer, somebody who's going out and every time you do a deal, you have to get a hard money loan, you have to get a private money loan or use credit cards, and then refinance that out with a conventional lender every single time?
I have an 850 credit score, and I show every dollar I make on my tax return because I'm not good at what Pace does, and I don't depreciate anything. I pay it all. I'm dumb. Okay? I still am banging my head against the wall getting a mortgage.
Yep.
It's terrible.
Here's a good question. I'm curious about both of you guys. I know, Brent, are you implementing any infinite banking at all?
No.
I think so. I'm going to tell you my honest opinion about infinite banking.
But I am real quick, Pace. I'm telling you right now, we need to start a bank. I am telling you,
hard money lending,
hard money transactional funding nationwide.
I'm down 100%.
Emil's already got it going. He's already got partners in it. He's already got his Keegley's already working on it. Damn it. All right. Well, whatever. Pace, you and I will do it.
Damn it.
So this is a good question. So infinite banking means instead of me putting my money in a 401k or an IRA or whatever else, I'm going to go get a whole life insurance policy. This is how Jim Harbaugh, the college coach, actually gets paid. Every penny of his salary gets paid to his whole life insurance policy as a loan. It's genius.
Yeah.
Okay. So I never believed in the infinite banking policy or the concept up until January of this year, when Jamil and I met Toby Mathis of Anderson Business Advisors. And I'm going to go very surface level on this. If you do not have a nonprofit that you put your money into, which you then get you get a charitable donation write-off for. So check this out. I can make $100,000 on a wholesale deal. I can donate that $100,000 to my own charity. And guess what I just got? I got $100,000 tax deduction on donating to my own charity. Okay. That's dope. And that's a whole conversation all by itself, but I'm going to be surface level. Now, if I take that $100,000 in my charity and then go do a whole life insurance policy, that makes sense to me because it's non-taxable. Whereas most people that do an infinite banking policy, they take their after-tax dollars like a dumbass. They go make $100,000. And if they're at my tax rate, Jamil's tax rate, and Brent's tax rate, probably 50%, they pay $50,000 to Uncle Sam, and then they take a portion of what's left over and they go put it in a whole life insurance policy. without a charity that I'm donating to, whole life insurance policy is an absolute waste of your time. Go invest in real estate. Straight up, go invest in real estate. Don't waste your time on a whole life insurance policy without a charity. That's my personal opinion.
Boom.
Okay, let's see this. Pace, make this a clip right here. No, I'm gonna not do that. I think that's actually a really smart thing. Is there somebody right now, Brent or Jamil, that is doing hard money lending nationwide?
No, they're like lending home and these really like difficult to work with companies. There's a couple of products out there, but the reason why there's not a nationwide hard money lender is because of the whole judicial versus trustee state situation, and it's just the licensing and all of the things that go on in those processes make it prohibitive to be in certain states. Pace, you have been doing deals in Florida. You probably have seen this. There's very few hard money lenders in Florida.
Bro, I have 2 flips going on in Florida right now. Yep. And I actually called you. And I go, hey, bro, who's your franchise using for hard money lending in Florida? This is a nightmare in Florida to get a hard money loan. It's like full on, even a hard money loan in Arizona, I could sneeze and get a loan in Arizona. In Florida, it's like, oh, yeah, we can fund in probably 30 days, but we need
3
a full
points.
credit run. We need your tax. Wait. I thought this was a hard money loan.
Yeah, we need to
appraisal. It is. It's a hard money loan. We're lending against the asset. You're not. I'm like, what? I'm so not used to this. And then they charge 3 to 4 points up front. So we just funded the fix and flips ourselves in Florida. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, I got to find a different lender. And so that's what we're on the search for in Florida, to find a lender that will do a deal quickly. And really, I think the only option, correct me if I'm wrong, Jamil, is just to go private money and bypass a hard money lender.
Yeah, private money or certain hard money lenders will lessen the restrictions or lessen the qualification after you've done a tremendous amount of business with them. But the problem is for a private money lender or a hard money lender, foreclosing on a property in a judicial state is a lengthy process.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then the non-judicial states.
Non-judicial states, then that. Yeah, absolutely. That's what we got to do. Wholesale hotline, hard money.
Speaking of lenders, Christina, who had a great question earlier, has another good comment. I want to bring something up. So you guys know that 16-hour live I did last year, and then I did that 25-hour live, and then we did that 0 to Hero challenge just recently. My next challenge is I have Matt Faircloth, who wrote the Bigger Pockets book on raising private capital. Dave Day and myself are going to do a 16-hour challenge. We're going to find a deal and fund the deal with a private money lender. A deal we don't know who's going to send us a deal. We don't know where it's coming from, but we have to find a deal organically. And then we have to go find a private money lender that is not in any of our networks in 16 hours to show people the process of how easy it is to actually find a private money lender. The process Jamil teaches of how to find cash buyers, and same thing with Brent, talks a lot about how to find cash buyers on public data, is actually the same way to you find private money lenders. The way I find all my private money lenders that are willing to go in second position is by polling public. Pay attention to this, guys. Pull public data on who has second lien positions in lending companies. There's your private money lenders. That's very simple. And people overcomplicate it. You call them and you go, hey, I see that you loan money in a second position on this home. I'm looking for somebody to do the same thing for me, right? That's everybody that does the burst strategy has a first mortgage, which is your hard money lender. And then they have a second gap funder or somebody who brings the construction money. That person is a private money lender in second position. There's there's notes and deeds of trust nationwide that are public data that will tell you who those lenders are. It's really easy to find a private money lender. You pick up the phone and call. How do I know it? Why is it so easy? Because they've already told you that they're a lender. You can actually pull up the entire note. Like right now, if I give you one of my addresses, you click on one of my addresses on Maricopa County records, it'll pull up the note from my lender and it will show you the terms, the name of my lender, what my percentage, what my payment is. It's all public data. It's not hard to find lenders. It's just as easy to find a cash buyer. It might even be easier to find a lender than it is to find a cash buyer. So we're going to do that as a 16-hour live sometime after Jamil and I finish the TV show.
There's a question I keep seeing here. People are wondering, what would your assignment fee be if you use those flat ratios, 50 or 70% of ARV? Okay, so Miran, the answer to that is going to be a little bit more complicated than just a straight number, because it's going to depend on who your buyer is, first and foremost, right? So if your buyer is a fix and flip client, on average, you can at least expect to make around $10,000 if you're using that flat rate strategy. But as you've seen, I showed you guys earlier in today's call, our assignment fees are much higher than $10,000. And the reason for that is who our buyer pool is and what type of deals we're selling to them. And so you can really have a much higher assignment fee if you sell to a buy and hold investor than if you're selling to a fix and flip investor. You might have an even larger assignment fee if you're selling to a hedge fund that's planning to just buy and keep. So that's definitely going to be a product of who your buyer is, but at minimum $10,000.
Miran, just text me. You know that. This is a TTP student. We talked today. Are you guys, Jamil, are you guys taking down any of those properties? Are you guys taking them down and just selling them to those hedge funds or to some of the iBuyers?
Yep,
we're doing that. And it's like
not the iBuyers, but small hedge funds. Yes, we haven't been selling to the iBuyers, but the hedge funds, yes.
Why not the iBuyers?
Their process is a little bit harder. There's still the whole. You're not talking to anybody that has any weight or power at the company. It's an agent, and they're very much treating it like there's no relationship there. No. We haven't been able to create meaningful relationships with the iBuyers, but we definitely have been able to create meaningful relationships with the hedge funds.
Awesome.
Yep.
Ooh, you know who might be a really good guest on a show? Is bring in a hedge fund, somebody who manages a hedge fund's acquisition department. I've got 2 people that would probably be willing to come on the show. Do you guys have anybody in mind that you think would be good to come on the show?
That'd be great.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll work on that because I think that would bring a lot of value to people, just bringing that person on and specifically talking about what's the process and how do they look at it and how to submit deals and all that kind of stuff. This one's good. BW Park has asked this a couple of times. Cody Barton just walked into the building, by the way. He says hi to both of you guys. This is one of my favorite things about Brent. And I agree with this comment right here. Brent, I heard you once say, what sources of information are you taking in? Entertainment, education, or instruction? Beware of the difference between influence versus manipulation.
That's right.
Please expand on that.
Yeah, well, it comes down to really a lot of words getting thrown around here, but spending versus investing, right? And that has to do with not only your finance, but more importantly, your time. That's what really matters. There's Cody looking good. Look at that guy. Man, what a handsome devil. What is he, Swedish? He's just like a handsome Swedish model.
Come back, Cody, come back.
Anyway, the difference, listen, if you entertainment, typically for the most part, unless you're in the entertainment business, it is you're spending your time. When you're getting education and instruction, you are investing your time, and there's a big difference there. And investing, your energies, where do you want to put them? And are you spending them or investing them? Investment gets something in return. You're going to get something. Something's going to stick in your brain that's going to change you. You're going to be a different person tomorrow than you were today. You're going to be a different person in 5 minutes than you were 5 minutes ago, right? So it's just the difference there. So whenever you're looking at something, the most popular things are always going to be entertainment, right? These are the things that put us into a different world and we get to escape reality and we got to live there. I think that if you're looking for somebody that is going to be a mentor, a coach, or whatever else, you have to see, are they giving me instruction? Are they giving me education? Or is this entertainment? Do I want to be around them and be like them because of the fancy stuff that they have and the success that they have? Or do I want to be around them because they can get me results and get me there faster? There's a big difference between mentorship and coaching. There's a big difference between manipulation and influence. And that's what's really important to understand is, what do you want? If you want the entertainment, you want to be that, then go with that. That's cool. That's where you're at. And most people target 18 to 35-year-olds because 18 to 35-year-olds like that stuff. So, just understand that, when you are watching YouTube, when you're reading a book, when you're listening to a podcast, is this entertainment? Is this instruction? Or is this education? And that'll really help you to determine what you want to do, what path you want to go down, and how far down that rabbit hole you want to go. But I highly encourage you to go for instruction, because instruction's what you do, and that's coaching, and that's showing you how to get better and how to get better faster.
Awesome. What up, bro?
That. Hey guys.
How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. It's good to
Where'd
see
you
you
come
guys.
back from? Where'd you come? You're all gold and toasty.
Colombia and then Costa Rica.
Amazing. Did you guys have a fun time?
Oh yeah. Yeah,
You
it was
see
great.
tarantulas?
No tarantulas, some raccoons, some monkeys, and some iguanas, and some of that stuff.
Fun.
Were you working when you were abroad?
Yeah, we did the 0 to hero thing, that 3 weeks of Matt really headed up that challenge, but I was on a good 12 of the 15 days of that. Between I was in like 3 different states and 3 different countries in 3 weeks, and I was on the 0 to hero thing for 3 weeks.
So guys, just to unpack that, Cody was traveling and teaching and simultaneously doing deals in North Carolina through teaching, and also enjoying his lovely experiences out there, and his time with his girlfriend or fiance, right? Are you guys engaged
No,
now?
girlfriend.
Oh, damn.
Jill, not there yet.
Jamil, come on. Cody's like 20 years old, bro. Come on.
I want everybody to join the club.
As I see Jamil asks, like, when are you gonna have a baby? Or like, that's like stuff that like Pace and Laura, they're like, when are you guys gonna have kids? I'm like, what? Like 27. Give me some time.
Yeah. Take your time.
Cody, what's your answer to this question?
Where should I go to learn how to analyze what a deal is? So, yes, no, that's what I was already gonna say. I was gonna say you're on the right guy's YouTube channel. Jamil, go to his YouTube channel. Straight Out of Compin is exactly where I would be going to learn how to understand what a deal is. And he has a freaking awesome video on his YouTube channel that you can go back and rewatch over and over again. That I actually share that. Your comping video that you did, I think it's like a year old now, Jamil, but I share that with my team all the time. When they're like, how do I get better? I'm like, you need to watch anything Jamil puts out on comping. That's exactly what you need to do.
Love you, bro. Thank you, man.
Love you too, bro.
What else we got here? When cold calling sellers that are in pre-foreclosure, should I approach as a wholesaler looking to buy their property?
Well, it just depends, because wholesalers aren't looking to buy properties. Wholesalers are looking to sell that property to an end buyer. So it just depends. I think you should go as a buyer. And if you don't have the funds, squat up with somebody that does have the funds so that you have that confidence that you can close the deal. Because or just tell them that you're going to be wholesaling it, but it's just a different it's an awkward situation when people have a timeline that is very definite on when their property will go to auction. Now that the forbearance is loosening up and we're going to start seeing some foreclosures. It's not some avalanche. It's not some crazy thing, but it's going to be I'm talking. That's what my Wednesday show is all about. 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We're going to be talking about how to do deals with pre-foreclosures and how to go after those after they start getting loosened up. So for in-depth Wednesday, 10 a.m., join me on my YouTube channel. live show, question and answers.
Cody, you guys have been doing some virtual deals, right?
Yep, we have.
So let's ask you this question. Do you need boots on the ground to do residential vacant land deal virtually?
Ooh,
What would you say?
I love this. So, I mean, it's great having boots on the ground regardless. If you're going to virtually wholesale, having boots on the ground is like the cheat code. Like that's like you get to expedite the whole process of, getting deals done in a different market. I mean, when we went into North Carolina during the 0 to Hero challenge, it was literally the first day was, how do we find someone in this market, that knows what buyers buy, what buyers don't buy, what zip codes buyers don't buy in, and if I find a deal, has buyers that will buy my deal. And that, that was where we reached out to Keegley for that. And it's like, okay, now we already have our buyer taken care of. So now we can just go and find deals. So yes, having boots on the ground would be helpful. I think regardless, whether it's a vacant land deal or whether it's a single family home, I think, regardless, the first deal I ever did in in the investment space where I did everything, from start to finish myself was a land deal in Phoenix. And it was a lady that had inherited it. And there were other homes being built in the neighborhood that were new builds, just spec builds that were, being put up by other investors. I got it under contract and I called the new builds that had just been built, the sellers that built them. And they're like, yes, I am buying more lots there, and sold the deal, but you don't have to even have that step if you have the boots on the ground.
Brent, Cody,
Yeah.
you guys know Zach Ginn?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's a CTPer for sure.
I love that guy.
Yeah.
What do you guys
We've
think
done
about having him on Wholesale Hotline?
Love it. I'll set it up.
Let's
Zach's
get
dope.
it up. Let's make it happen.
Yep.
Thanks, Sergio. Great request. Zach's dope. Let's get him on here. He does
Awesome.
a lot of good stuff. Well,
That's our time.
That's our time, guys. That's our time. We have Cody, Brent, myself, Pace in the background. You guys don't know how much we love bringing this show to you guys week after week after week. Honest to God, it's one of the most energizing things that I get to do. And why is that? Because watching you have the opportunity to change your life through wholesale real estate is energizing, empowering, and literally what I think I was put on this planet to help do. Like Brent Daniels, like Cody Barton, like Pace Morby, Matt Beard, and everybody else that is tirelessly trying to teach you guys this craft. We want to see you succeed. We want to see you stay consistent. And we want to see you next week.
That's right.
It. Good night.
Love you guys.
Have a good night, everybody.